Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mr. Yu. I'm doing some cross-examinations of this year's SA1 paper. As you can see, this question I have annotated here. So the students who are online, please kindly follow me. Underline this part, no plants, no animals on island Q. So island Q is this part at the southern part of the map, and island P is on the northern part. So they say that a few years later, plant B were found growing on island Q, as indicated in the following diagram. So initially they don't have all these things, so I erase all this. Okay, what you need to do is look at the wind directions. Okay, so in this case, river flows from the east to the west, and also the wind direction also blows from the east. Okay, so it's the east. There's no compass point here, as you know, north, south, east, west, right? So north is on top, south is below, east, west. Okay. So you see that they say that at first there were no plants and no animals on island Q. So how do the young plants landed on island Q? So they say suggest one way how plant B started to grow on island Q. So it cannot be by river or by water, because you need to go against the flow of the river. So it's impossible that the seed from here can float against the current. Likewise, it also cannot be by wind, because from here to go there, you need to go against the wind direction. So immediately you have eliminated both wind and water dispersion. So we only left with two, either by explosive action or by animals. And also by explosive action, it will be scattered just around the parent plant. So explosive action is out. So therefore, the answer is by animals. Okay. So you notice this student, he or she got 0 mark because she indicated the wrong way of dispersal. Okay, she put by wind. Okay, part A and B is actually related. So if you have got the answer by animals correct, then you answer which of the following X or Y could be the fruit of plant B. So it cannot be by wind, right? So this one definitely out. So only left with fruit X. Okay. Then notice here, you need to explain your answer. And this is 1 mark. So for these sort of questions, even though if you have identified the correct fruit, but if your reason is not correct, you won't get any marks. So for these sort of questions, there's no half mark. So therefore, you must be very careful, identify the correct fruit, and give the right reason. So how does this fruit X lands on this part? So the only reason is animals eaten fruit X with the seeds and pass out the seed through the waste. Okay, so try to use this word through the waste. Okay, although the other two words are also acceptable. Okay, next question. Let me enlarge bigger. Some birds were found living on island Q. Give a reason why these birds could be found living on island Q. Okay, indicate this part. Only after plants were found growing there. So there's a hint, because the bird is this fruit, right? Therefore, the fruits provide a food source. So the reason is very simple, is this part. Okay, it's only one mark, because they say give a reason. So you just say the plants provided food for the birds. Okay, because they ask you why the birds could be found only after the plants were growing there, because the plants is a food source for the bird. Okay, next question. After some time, there was a virus, virus, right? Like COVID virus, that could cause fewer male than female birds to be hatched on island P. So you underline this part, fewer male than female birds to be hatched on island P. Why did the population of birds decrease? Okay, so immediately this will catch your attention. It's related to the topic on reproduction, because for sexual reproduction, we need the sperm from the male to fertilize with the egg in the female. So the reason is stated here. You can write this part. Okay, fewer male birds will be available to mate with the female birds thus decreasing the rate of reproduction, hence population of bird decrease. So you take down this part. I will do a screenshot for those of you who need help in capturing the answer. I will send to the link here. So this answer together with the answer on top here. Okay, this part, make it smaller. Capture these two screens. Okay, I give you about 1 minute to complete this answer while I do a pause recording. Okay, let's look at the next question, 32. It's also from the same school paper in 2022 this year. It says that Raphael conducted an experiment to measure the temperature and the amount of oxygen present in the water of 3 tanks, A, B, and C. His results are shown in the following table. So you look at this table, there are 2 things being measured, which I tick here, temperature and the amount of oxygen. So I want you to notice, number 1, you wrote down this part, the aim. Okay, so you underline this part, the aim of the experiment, which is to measure the temperature and the amount of oxygen present in the 3 different tanks. Okay, secondly, I want you to notice the patterns as the temperature increases every 5 degrees, from 20 degrees to 30 degrees. You notice there's a regular pattern. The amount of oxygen also decreased proportionately by 10 units. So part A, Raphael then placed the same number of fishes into each tank. So this must be constant because to be a fair experiment. So the same number of fish and also must be the same species. He noted that the breathing rate of the fishes increased when the temperature of water was higher. So can you see this is the result? As the temperature increased, the breathing rate, okay, the breathing, but here you notice here, it didn't say the breathing rate here. Here is the amount of oxygen. Okay, the breathing rate increases. So if you have another column here, let's say if you can plot another table, it's called the breathing rate. Okay, let's say there's another, you do an additional step. So if you do an additional step, then if you put in units here, you'll notice maybe the breathing rate, let's say this is 11. Okay, then maybe this is 20, 21. Maybe this is 31. Okay, I just give you a hypothetical example. Okay, so this is what happened. Okay, as the temperature increases, the breathing rate was higher. So you need to explain this observation. Okay, notice the student, she gets 0 mark. Okay, she put the answer as when temperature of the water was higher, the fish breathed faster, increasing the breathing rate. Okay, what she did was, she did not explain. She just described what happened. Okay, she's just transferring the numbers here into written form. Okay, what you should do is, you must say, when the temperature increases, the words in red, the amount of oxygen decreased. Okay, that's why it's on top here. Then the explanation is, therefore the fish needs to increase its breathing rate in order to have enough dissolved oxygen to survive. So that's the reason. So you take this down. Likewise, I will do a screenshot and save it here and send to the student here. You can download. Okay, what is the reason behind this? Why this phenomenon happened? It's actually quite simple. As you know that oxygen, right, is a matter, is a gas, right? So you have learned in P4, when any matter, be it solid, liquid, or gas, when they gain heat, what happens? It expands, right? So likewise, if the temperature of the water increases, in this instance, from 20 degrees to 30 degrees, the oxygen which is in the water also gain heat and expand, and you escape through the surface. So that's the reason. That's why at a higher temperature, there's less dissolved oxygen in the water. So in order to have sufficient oxygen, right, to survive, or sufficient dissolved oxygen, the fish got to close and open its gills more frequent. That's why the breathing rate increased. Okay, so this is one important scientific concept. So what you have learned here for students who are online, plotting extra information, this part. Plotting extra information helps you to understand better. So these are the hypothetical breeding rates, which you can just plug in the number because it shows an increasing pattern as temperature increases from 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. Okay. Okay, next question, which is related to here, is application questions. It's actually quite tricky. Okay, why do I say tricky? Okay, let's explore together. Okay, it says that Raphael also studied the cells of a leaf during day and night, as shown below. Some of the gases that move through the tiny openings are oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. So I want you to underline this part, move through, and the three types of gases. And you observe here at night, this part is smaller, right? The openings. This is actually the stomata or the stoma. And during day, it's bigger. Okay, usually in most instances, this is the reverse. Usually during the day, the tiny opening should be smaller, and during night may be bigger. But this question, the school said in a way to make it slightly more difficult. So now it says, suggest a reason to explain. Okay, can you underline the word explain? That means you must give clear reasons, okay, to explain his observation about the size of the tiny opening between day and night. So in other words, you must clearly tell the examiner, why do you think during the day, the openings are bigger and at night is smaller? Okay, remember here, because they say, they give you this hint, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water. So you relate your thinking process to these three substances. So the answer is actually quite straightforward. Openings are bigger during the day to allow more carbon dioxide. Okay, this is a short form. So I require you to spell out the word. Require more carbon dioxide to be absorbed to increase the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, because during the daytime, there's light, right? So during the process of photosynthesis, more carbon dioxide is needed so that the rate of photosynthesis increase. Okay, so you take note of this part. Okay, then the reverse thing happened. They say in the day, right, the change in the size of the tiny opening can also be a disadvantage. So underline the word disadvantage to the plant. So they ask you, what is disadvantage? Okay, during the day, if the openings are big, right, so more water will be lost. So the reason is more water will be lost as water vapor through the opening. So there's a disadvantage. So I will screenshot this and send to you the answer for your reference. So indeed, this is quite a good question, testing your understanding. Okay, why I asked you to underline the word initially, this word move through. Okay, when you look at the word move through, it's going in and out. Because you see, during the process of respiration, right, oxygen is being taken in. And during the process of photosynthesis, oxygen is being released. So do you see these three gases is moving in and out, even water vapor. Okay, water vapor normally is only one direction because the plant absorbs the water through the roots and release the water vapor through the stomata. So only water vapor is escaping because they don't take in water vapor through the stomata. They absorb water through the roots. Okay, so take note of this question. And I'll proceed to the next question. So are there any questions? If not, I would continue the next one after I save this part.